It is time for another battle report, even though it's not really a battle report and I just tell you about the list I played and all that stuff. Also, dude, come over to my Skool community. Come check it out. I'm building a whole course for free on the basics of Warhammer. If you're new to it, or if you want to get into Warhammer, if you've got a friend that wants to get into Warhammer, definitely come check out my Warhammer community. It's on Skool. Search for Nerds of Warhammer. I can't post a link here because it doesn't let me. Skool, Nerds of Warhammer. Check that out. I'm pretty much the only Warhammer group over there. There's a few, but they're like super tiny. Come join me, talk with me about Warhammer. Anyway, so this list was super fun. I played into Grizzled Company Guard today, and we played with the new point updates and all that stuff, and I lost by like 10 points, but man, we had a blast. So first up, I had a Bloodthirster of Khorne, right? I had two of them. One with Fade to Darkness. So what that does is allows me to pick the model up if it's destroyed something at the end of the fight phase. So he was barely ever on the board because he would just come in, destroy something, and leave. He did it over and over and over again, and I've noticed that people really like to try to heroically intervene into him when that happens, and he did not get that off on this guy, but he did get it off on another unit that I will tell you about in a minute. So this is Shadow Legion. Shadow Legion gives all Khorne models advanced shoot and charge, and I can ally in CSM units, so Chaos Space Marines, and they still get their Dark Pax ability, which allows them to take a leadership role. And if they take a leadership role, they could, or a battle shock test essentially, I can get sustained hits or lethal hits. In both fighting and shooting, which we'll get to that in a moment. Now, Leaping Shadow, 9-inch scout move at the beginning of the game. I went first. That Khorne Bloodthirster went straight up the table and was very scarily in his back line turn one. Bloodthirster with Fade to Darkness gets picked up at the end of the fight phase. If he has destroyed a unit, he would come in every turn, destroy a unit, go back in reserves. Run Masters, I've got 3 of these bad boys. These things are nuts. So their ability stacks, and what they do is they point at something that is visible and within 18 inches of them at the start of the fight phase. They can do it multiple times to a unit, a single unit. So that makes them +1 strength, +1 AP, and +1 damage for all Khorne units that attack that unit. That said, it stacks, so +3 attack or +3 strength, +3 AP, +3 damage. So if we look at this Bloodthirster's little great axe of Khorne over here, let's just discuss this for a second. 7 attacks, hitting on 2s, pretty good as is to start with. But this makes it strength 19, AP 7, D6 +5 damage. This thing slaps. I could do the sweep into a tank and still kill it, right? Because that's going to be 14 attacks, hits on 2s. That's a lot of attacks hitting on 2s. That makes it strength 13, so I'm still wounding on 3s. It's going to be AP 5, so it's still even better than the original AP on the strike. And then that's going to be 5 damage each. So this thing really hits hard with those Red Masters. And they're super fun to play with. And the Bloodthirster is really hard to move block because he can just fly over stuff. So those are the only detachment or only enhancement I had was Leaping Shadow and Fade to Darkness. They're the best ones in this detachment anyway. I had 3 units of 10 Flesh Hounds. These boys are so fast, and with those Ren Masters, they hit really, really hard. So let's look. Let's just say this, I only get 2 in on any given unit at a time, but that allowed these boys to tank down a tank. So 10 guys is 30 attacks, right? I got half the attacks in. I got, I think, like maybe 7. No, I got like 14 attacks or something. I don't know how that mathed out. So I'm probably just wrong. It's probably like 5 guys and 15 attacks or whatever. Anyway, they hit on 3s. That's pretty good. but then it's strength 8 with the 3 Ren Masters, so I was only strength 7, but that made it AP 3, 4 damage. No, AP, yeah, AP 3, 3 damage, which is, with that many attacks, it's a lot of damage going through. And these guys can go up and down off the board at the end of the fight phase, so they can come in anywhere they want. This whole list was designed around just not being on the board. Unfortunately, my opponent's army was designed on holding. I got taken hold, and my opponent's army was designed to sit on all those objectives. So while this was fun, it didn't work. It worked really well. Don't get me wrong. I destroyed everything I touched and denied a lot of points, and ultimately lost by about 15 points, 10, 15 points. So it wasn't too bad. Warp Talons. We'll get back to the beastmen. They're like my new favorite unit ever. Warp Talons. Warp Talons are like little mini bloodthirsters in this. They go in, they hit really hard, and they get sustained hits or lethal for after taking a battle shock test. And then if they kill a unit, which they did because I was only going into infantry units with them, because I was fighting guards, so they're like wounding on 3s for everything. And a little squad of these, you can't see it here because I don't own the I don't own this I don't own the CSM codex, but these guys are 4 attacks each, so it's 20 attacks for a unit of 5. In a unit of 10, which costs more, it's 40 attacks. They have twin linked on their weapons, and they're strength 5, AP 2, 1 damage, so they hit really, really hard into the right units. And then after they make an attack, they go back into deep strike if they've destroyed the unit. So these are like little mini Fade Thirsters. And then we're going to get to my favorite units, the Fellgore Beastmen. Normally I wouldn't think these guys were very good. Their ability is that they're allowed to come in turn 1. They got a couple special weapons that I didn't even bother to put on them because they can't fight and they can't really. They suck, right? They're just bad when it comes to fighting. But they come in turn 1 from reserves. Normal reserve rules. Well, in this detachment, they get to get deep strike. Deep strike is badass with these guys coming in turn 1 because they can go behind enemy lines, they can go in deployment zones, they can do whatever the heck they want with their deep strike ability. I move blocked with them. They have scored me more points than any other single unit, and they're not really considered a threat by my opponents, so they just kind of get ignored. In this detachment, I have Uppy Downy as well, so they can come back up off the board at the end of my opponent's phase if they've ignored them, and come in and do some more shenanigans later. They've got super tiny bases, so if they leave 2 alive, that's even better, because they just drop somewhere else on the board in a really tiny little spot, and boom, they're scoring me more points. I've had them take objectives. I've had them score me turn 1 recover assets in all 3 deployment zones, or all 3 zones, no man's land, my opponent's and mine. Now they didn't score for mine, but they did the other 2, right? This game they came in and cleansed for me. They're just so good. They're such good utility on this unit coming in turn 1. So this is my list. I love it. This list was super fun to play. We had a ton of laughs, and I might swap up a few things about it. I would like to have a 20 or a 10-man unit of Warp Talons. Fellgore Beastmen are here to stay in like all of my Shadow Legion lists. The Flesh Hounds are good, but I think I'm going to take them in units of 5. So they can hide better, score me more points, bounce around the board as they're intended versus kind of be in my melee unit with the Blood Thrones. And yeah, that's it. Oh, I did finally, after all the games I played, I rarely ever get the Ren Master even into combat. And when he is, he's rarely into a character unit. they get to reroll wounds into character units and heal D6 wounds when they pass. Well, I finally got him into combat, rerolled his only failed wound, and then it rolled into a 1. So that was sad. Anyway, join my Warhammer community over on Skool. Let's talk lists, share your lists. I've got a way for y'all to make some money if you want to start creating silly content like this, or if you paint or whatever. Um, I want to build this community together, and I'll be paying people to create content on their own TikTok or YouTube or Facebook or whatever. So let's let's build a really cool community together. See you guys.